This video is for people who remotely control and own both Yaesu and ICOM radios. For Yaesu radios with the SCU-LAN 10 accessory, which costs $319, will be compatible with FTDX 101MP, FTDX 101D, FTDX 10, and FT710. Can be remotely controlled with a computer called Yaesu SCU-LAN 10 software on Windows for free. And also, it can be installed on Linux as well with Wine installed in order to run properly. Link in the description. Also, for iOS, Mac, and iPad devices, there is an app called FT Control, though it costs $90. For ICOM radios with remote capabilities built in are the IC705, IC7300 Mark II, and the IC9700. Can be remotely controlled on a computer called the RSBA1. Unfortunately, it costs money for a price of $200. Though there is a workaround to get the software for free. If you know a radio guy with the RSBA1 installed on their computer and it's near your general location, not too far, you can go there and ask them for the copy of their RSBA1 software to be copied into your USB stick or your external HDD. Here you go. You got yourself a free copy of the RSBA1 software. I'm not aware if it got some form of copy protection, but hopefully it should work. Also, it can be run on Linux with Wine installed as well, though I have not tested it, however, because I don't have the RSBA1. Also, for iOS, Mac, and iPad devices, there is an app called SDR Control. Sadly, just like FT Control, it do cost $90 as well. In order for both Yaesu and ICOM radios to remote properly, you need to have a modem and a router in pairs, and not the router/modem combo, which combines both the router and modem into a single package. Because the router/modem combo might cause the remote operation to not connect as smoothly, which is a hassle. So I do recommend a separate modem and router for this to work. If you got the separate modem and router already, good. But if you got the router/modem combo, well, you have to buy them separate. For my dad's radio setup is the IC9700 and the Yaesu FTDX10. For our modem is the CM700 by Netgear. And for our router is the AX1800 Archer AX21 by TP-Link. Our main internet service provider is from Xfinity, and a service plan up to 300 megabits per second. Due to differences, yours and ours might have a different setup process, depending on your type of router and modem, your internet service provider, what region or country you lived in, what internet plans you bought, and also a different router setup GUI, also known as graphical user interface, or an app. Examples are the TP-Link Tether app or the Xfinity app on mobile devices. Your mileage may vary. Our internet service provider is Xfinity, so I'll show you the examples through their mobile app. On the main menu of the Xfinity app, click on the magnifying glass icon on the top right. Search Activate. It will show Activate Internet Equipment. On the Activate Device option, click the Your Own Modem button. By clicking the Get Started button, it will begin the activation process of your modem. It might take long or shorter depending on your main ISP. After that, your modem will restart for a few minutes and then it is now ready and it's connected to the worldwide internet. With the modem done, then you're going to set up the router's configuration. I'll go through the TP-Link's Tether app that ours have. Open the Tether app. It will search for the router in your area. So be close to your router during setup. After finding your router, click on it and it will bring you to the quick setup configuration. The whole process is simple. Just set up your Wi-Fi name and password and everything will be all good. Finishing the quick setup, the router will soon be ready and Wi-Fi will be available. After that, you're all set once Wi-Fi is online with stable connection speed. With all that out of the way, plug in your ICOM with your router's gigabit port. Before touching the settings of the ICOM 9700 in the Yaesu SCU-LAN 10, we must first set up the static DNS. Instead of using the public IP, since it is usually dynamic and it will eventually expire, not good for smooth remote operation. So we will set up a no IP DNS for the purpose of remote operation for your radios. So first, search for no IP, then click on it. At the website of no IP, click the sign up button on the top right corner. Then you will create your no IP account using your email and create your own password. Then click the sign up button. It will ask you to check on your email inbox for activation for your newly created no IP account. It's going to ask you about yourself and how will you use their services. It doesn't really matter, but you can follow along what I click on if you want. After that, you will be greeted on the main dashboard of the No IP website after creating your account. You can ignore the important notification. Click on the dynamic DNS hostname. Click on Create Hostname. It will reveal four options: types, host, free domains, and your public IP. On the Types tab, it will show you several different types. I'll choose A. On the Host tab, you can type in your host domain name whatever you like. I'll just type example as a host name. There's a lot of domains you can choose from. I'll stick to serverftp.com as an example. Your IP address should be automatically added. If not, you can search what is my IP, then you can copy paste that way. Click on Enable Dynamic DNS and click Create. There's a pop-up after creating. You can just click Cancel. After creating your own DNS through the No IP website, take notes of your domain name and your No IP account password, because it will be used later on this video to enable you to connect and remotely control your radio through the internet. First, you will set up your ICOM. Click Menu, click Set, click Network, scroll up to see your ICOM's local DHCP IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway. You can use the DHCP local IP that your ICOM have, mostly for local remote access at your home. Your ICOM's ports will be default to 5001, 5002, and 5003. Because we have the SCU-LAN 10 taking those ports already, you will have to change those ports to 5004, 5005, and 5006. Now, click on Network User 1. You can add your ID name, your network password for remote access, take notes, and toggle the administration to yes. After that, restart your ICOM for the changes to take effect. Now, onto the SCU-LAN 10 setup. Because the SCU-LAN 10 is an accessory for the FTDX10, the main radio itself does not have a menu for setting up the SCU-LAN 10, unlike the ICOM 9700. So you will need a Windows computer or a laptop to enter via LAN to LAN connection. I'll link you to the SCU-LAN 10 software in the description, which I archive it on my separate Google Drive for you to download. If it pops up a warning, just click download anyway. Also, I will show you a snippet of the video from the gas lab, including the SCU-LAN 10 manual, both linked in the description.
So what we're going to do is, in my case, I'm going to run this as admin. Okay, running things like this as admin often helps, or however you do need a little to take a bit of care when you're doing it. All right, so I'm going to run that as admin just to make sure that it installs correctly. And you will get one of these boxes pop up. Don't worry about it at this stage. Just go to more info and just say run anyway. Be installing, and you should get this to come up with question marks on it, and you're just going to say next. It's going to ask where it wants to install. Just leave it at default and just say next, and it says create a shortcut on the desktop. Yeah, I'm going to have some of that. The destination folder doesn't exist. Well, yeah, of course, create it, and then we'll let it do its thing, and that should not take too long. Okay, so it's now asking us to click on the icon, and you will get 2 new icons on your desktop. Then you're going to need to plug your Ethernet port directly into the back of your computer. If we go down to the bottom of your computer screen here, get the taskbar, and what we're going to do is right mouse click on the little computer shape here, the network here, and we're going to say open network settings. We're going to go down to the Ethernet settings, and we're going to say change adapter options. We're going to go to your main Ethernet port. So at this point, if you just double click on that, a window will pop up like this, and we're just going to say properties, and we're going to go to the Internet Protocol version 4 TCP, and we're going to say use the following IP address. So what we're going to do is we'll put in there 192.168, and it's 49, and it is 10. Okay, and we'll say OK. Now it'll come up with an error just to say that it's missing its subnet mask, but Windows clever enough that it will fill that in for you. And once you say OK, and you say OK and say OK again, then you can close that window out. So we'll double click on that, and then this box will pop up, and then what we're looking for is the default user, so we can copy that because the password and the username are the same, and we say log in. There we go, and now it's going to ask you for a new account, so we're going to create a new account. So in my case, I'll call it Gary, and we'll call the password I don't know what we should call it, ABC 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. There you go. It needs to be quite long, otherwise it complains. Say OK. Fine. Success. If we go back to the screen, it's now logged in. Okay, so we're going to say log in. We're going to use the password that we've made, and it's going to be your username. So we're going to say log in.
After installing both the Yaesu SCU-LAN 10 setting tool and the Yaesu SCU-LAN 10 remote software included, then you will enter a new reserved local IP for the SCU-LAN 10, which is usually found in your router settings, which shows you the IP address pool. You can start from there until the SCU-LAN 10 setting tool accepted the unused local IP. Then, you must exactly match the subnet mask and your default gateway on your router. Double check in case that you have entered the wrong subnet mask or the wrong default gateway. which is really important in order for the remote to work. Also, keep the control port always at 5000 at all times, no matter what, or else the remote operation through the internet will not work as a result based on the manual. The SCU-LAN MAC address will be included as a default, so don't worry about that. After configuring, click Apply and close the setting tool. Just in case, re-log in with your SCU-LAN account name and password you have created just to make sure it reconnects without the LAN-to-LAN connection, only Wi-Fi. If the setting tool reconnected to the SCU-LAN, you have successfully configured the SCU-LAN to your network. Now that both the ICOM 9700 and the Yaesu SCU-LAN has been set up, now the next part will be port forwarding them and also log in with your no IP through the router configuration. Though for the port forwarding settings, however, that's not available on the TP-Link Tether app. You have to access to the web GUI of your router. If you don't know how to access it, look at the underside of your router for accessing the router's GUI configuration. Again, this will look different on a different router that you have. Since ours is TP-Link, go type in your password to access your router. Click on Connected Device List, or in my case, called Clients. Go scroll and look for the names called ICOM and the other called Yaesu Musen. If you found them, and also if their local IP and MAC address match, that's the one. Click on Advanced. Under the Network tab, click on Dynamic DNS. Under the Dynamic DNS subtab, then you can enter your service provider, which is no IP. Username, which you can enter using your email, your no IP password, your domain name, which mine is called again example.serveftp.com. Click to enable one IP binding. Then click on Login and Save. If it said Success, that means your static no IP DNS has been connected to your router on behalf of your public IP. Go and click called NAT Forwarding. Under the NAT Forwarding tab, click on Port Forwarding. Then you can enter both for the SCU-LAN and the ICOM. Type in their local IP address, which it must match. Set the port range for the ICOM of 5004 to 5006, while the Yaesu SCU-LAN port range will be 5000 to 5003. Set their protocol to all, and click Enable this entry and save. After entering the information and port forwarding the ICOM 9700 and the Yaesu FTDX10 SCU-LAN, that means they are able to detect whenever you try to remote them locally or through the internet. Though, heads up, there are some cases that the firewall and security might have a chance to block them by accident. You can disable them if that's the case. If you're still able to remote them with the firewall and security features on, leave them be. Now, after finishing configuring the port forwarding and the dynamic DNS settings, you can now start setting up your remote program either on the computer or on mobile devices. For the ICOM 9700, go to your SDR Connect app. Click on Connect, click Add. You can type any name on the title, usually your radio model and brand name. Type in your address, which is your no IP DNS, like example.serveftp.com we have just created. Enter your ICOM's port 5004. Then, enter your username and password that you have set up on the ICOM Network User 1. Click Save and Connect. Do this the same thing again, but this time, just using your ICOM's local DHCP IP for local remote. Also, do the exact same configuration on your RSBA1. Ports will be 5004, 5005, 5006, just to remember. After that, if it connects successfully, locally and through the internet, congrats! You are now a proud owner of the remote-enabled ICOM radio. Now, for the SCU-LAN 10 for the FTDX10, in the FT Control app, click Connect. Click Add. For the name, you can type in whatever you like, though usually the model and brand name. On Model, click and select the type of model that your Yaesu radio had. Connection type will be set to network. Under Network Settings, type in your DNS domain name, just like example.serveftp.com, your username, and your password. Do this again, but this time with the local IP of the SCU-LAN 10. You can do this in a similar fashion on the Yaesu remote program on the computer. Click Setup on the top left corner. Click Connection Setup and enter your username, password, and your DNS domain name as well. Also, set up your ports to 5000, 5002, and 5003. Once that's done, and it's able to connect and remote locally and through the internet. Congrats again! You're now a proud owner of the remote controlled Yaesu radio.